Touch quick is all of you come on in. That's sort of a welcome, like touch quick, touch quick. Outlaw. Come in, sit down. Aji Delan Pendam Sham. I'm going to show you something. Delan ihlgiigaa. Delan ihlgiigaa. Prepare your minds, prepare yourself. That's the way the sessions would start when those old men were teaching me. So when they would, actually what they would say was, rather than hoit, come here, ihlgiigaa, walk over here, sit down there, boy. Ajidan pendang song. I'm going to show you something. Don't ihlgiigaa. Prepare yourself. So then I would sit like this, with my hands here, put my head down, close my eyes. And what they described is, your mind is like, we'll say, a container filled with silty water, because it's got all kinds of stuff going on. So you got to let it settle, let your mind quieten down. And so you sit there, eyes closed, and you turn off the thoughts. Just sit there and pay attention to your breathing. Slow breaths. And then when you feel it, you say, ihlgiigaa, I'm prepared. This person is prepared to listen. And then that person would start talking. But I'd keep my head down, leave my eyes closed, because now this empty vessel is being filled. It was like I would go down inside that person speaking, and I would experience what they're talking about rather than just hearing the words. So that's how it was done. So anyway, what I want to do is use expressions of gratitude. It always bothers me when you do something for somebody and they just say thanks. And if you say thank you, they'll say no problem. That's really kind of an insult, because they can't even say you're welcome. So people are so much in a hurry now to get where they're going, and they don't even know where that is. So when we use that term, anytime you see this mark here, this possessive apostrophe, that's sort of what, I guess it's called a glottal stop. That means how. So you stop and then move it. And the line over the A indicates that your vocal inflection is going to go up. So it's not just hawa. That's what a lot of people just say, hawa, like they're saying thanks. And so it's rather shallow. And so these are just the different singular forms as how you would thank one person. This term, tukwang, and I've underlined the NG because it's not tukwang, tukwang. And again, the vocal inflection goes up on the A, tukwang. How tukwang. Well, let's hear you say it. How tukwang. How tukwang. Come on, Laurel. How tukwang.
How
Tukwang. Da Guam. Good.
Thank you.
So that's where you can say it either male or female. It's just expressing that this person has done something, or maybe even said something that affects you deeply, and you want to express how deeply that feels. You touch my spirit, dear person, dear one. Now, I didn't put it on the, I'll put it up here because so you can see the difference. Now, the Guam can be either male or female, but Guna is like dear boy. How Guna? Come on, let me hear you say how Guna. Guna. How Guna. Okay, now you're expressing gratitude to a male that's younger than you, usually quite a bit younger, or it all depends on the relationship too, because maybe it's even some guy that kind of likes you and is only a year or so younger, and you just say, "Oh, Aguna." So it's not only what you say; it's really how you say it, because even you say "How Adawang," you know, you can say stuff like that where you're really expressing discontent, but it's how Adawang. And so you can hear it in the voice, how Adawang. You're really expressing some, how Aguna. And then this one here is a little bit different. The G is with the hairball in the throat.
How do we know when to do that?
You just learn it. Guna is the boy, Hanga is the father. Hanga is father of a boy. So Guna is boy, Hanga is father of a boy. Hanga. So this is father of a female. And when you say Hawa Haida, you would never say that, because this is the father of a boy. The males would say to their father, Hawa Haida. I mean, no, I got it backwards.
Okay.
The Hanga is what?
Dear boy.
Yeah, Hanga is father of a boy. I got him backwards. See? It's like that guy that said, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who have not made a decision. So I would say to my father, Hanga. Whereas you would say, Hada. 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 But when you look at your alphabet too, the single A is like the U in son, ha. The double A is like the A in fathers, ha, and the single U is kind of like a U, hu, hanga. But then when we, I skipped one here. I can't do that. awa, awa. Or if you're just saying my mother or the mother of this person, the oh, and then when you're speaking to a singular person, awa, and if you're referring to that person more like it would be awi, awi, awai. Let's see, that'd be an this is when it's a specific one. Is when there's an awai on the end. But so that would be your mother, your father, and see with the Massets, they say Oe would be Masset where you have the two eyes, it's like an E, whereas the Skiddigates, Oi, and we say Oa. So in many ways ours is closer to the Skiddigate because we will use Oi, and they use Oi, whereas Skiddigate use we. I can see you're perplexed.
Yeah, there's three.
Yeah.
Masset, Skiddigate, and then
Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're the, or Heidelberg. And then uncle, uncle is your mother's brother. That's not your father's brother. Ka, di ka. That's this person's uncle. But if you're referring to thanking your uncle, awa, kaga, kaga. But often we hear the massive version is gaga or gagi. But ours is kaga, kaga. Just repeat what I say if we can. Kaga, kaga. Di ka or di hawa kaga.
Hawa kaga.
Hawa kaga. There you go. And again, it's important to know that the uncle is only on your mother's side. That's your mother's brother. And the brother of all your mother's sisters, clan sisters. So you might have 20 uncles or more, because the uncle is the one that protects and takes care of you. So you have this whole layer of protection that you don't have in the, we'll say, the European family trees. And also, when we talk about your brothers are all the sons of all those women that are your mothers. So the word this wa, when I was a kid in Heidelberg, Lillian Charles, Irma Lawrence, Irene Nathan, I guess I would say Annie Peel, Rosalind Bell, Hank Edenshaw, Ruth Jurgensen, Marie Vandal, Flora Natcong. I probably missed a couple in there, but there was about 12 of them. That was the that's my mother. And so the children of all those women were my brothers and sisters. So we had to look out for each other. And the brothers of those women were all my uncles. So if somebody started giving me a hard time, I've got a lot of uncles out there. You don't want to mess with that. And if say your husband gives you, well, abuses you, you go tell your brothers, and maybe 20 of them will show up. And they would have said they would talk to him real hard. They would talk to that person. If he did it again, they would hurt him. If he did it again, they'd stop short of crippling him. If he did it again, from what I understand, they'd go to the clan chief and get permission to drown him. Because that was absolutely not permitted. The same with abusing children. You just didn't do it. So there was always these levels of protection. When they say to become a man, I have to be kind and gentle to the weaker ones and to my sisters, that's not only the people of my crest, that's all of the children and all of the women, anybody who's weaker than me or female. My responsibility is to protect. That's what this ceremony is all about. I'll always protect you. I'll always provide for you. So even if your whole family, you got no place to eat, you can come here. But that was almost the only time that happened is if your whole family was killed or lost, because it was not having family. It was the lowest status of any person. That's what ihlgiigaa is. That term for slave, that means you have no family. That's they would do this to you, like, in ihlgiigaa. And that was the only profanity that I know of. Ihlgiigaa. You fell from the vagina of a dog. Not that you were excreted or anything, but you just fell from there. You're not even, you're so low. That's what your status is, ihlgiigaa. And so, a man abuse a woman or abuse children, he was considered ihlgiigaa. He was the lowest of the low. And even if a man did have a little bit of authority over his wife, but he would never assert it, whether either in private or in public, because it's a shameful thing to do. Because now you're trying to make that person look small. What I was told when my first wife, we didn't even talk about it. I just signed over the property and the house and everything to her. But the second one, the lawyer wanted to talk about property settlement. I said, you shut up and sit down. This is the way it's going to be. She gets everything. Because my responsibility is to make her look bigger. I've got my own resources. She's got the children. So she's got things she's got to take care of, and I'm not there anymore. And so she has to look, we'll say, enticing or favorable to someone else. She's not just a beggar. She's got everything now. So that's the way it worked, rather than the way it is now. So these family relationships, to me, it's something that you really have to learn, and it was supposed to be the responsibility of the women to keep track of who was related to whom. And but as a part of my training, I had to learn all those things. It was because it's part of the history. So, and then also the word, this word, ihlgiigaa, we also use it for halibut as a nickname. We call it ihlgiigaa. That's my uncle, because my uncle provides me sustenance. The halibut was one of our primary food staples. It's, but his real name is Hap. Hap is how, but this is what we call him, Kagai. 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 That's the uncle. Ka, 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 Kagai. Not ka, ka. It's just up in here. So just hold the tongue back. Ka, ka, ka. Not ka. Ka is different. Ka. So there's ka, 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 ka. That's the sounds of raven. So we're just using the K line here, ka. So these, ka, kaga, or kagai. And then the ant, hoa kaga, would be thanking, expressing gratitude to your uncle, your mother's brother. Confusing? Well, it's a matrilineal system. So all inheritance flows from the mother's side. My inheritance comes from my uncle, from the pa, not from the from the It doesn't come from my father, it comes from my uncle. My father's raven, I'm eagle, so we're not related. It's on the opposite side. In fact, an ideal marriage might be for me to marry the daughter of my father's sister. There's one generation separating us.
That's okay.
But that's okay, as long as they're separated by at least one generation. And from what I understand, these people who study bones and that stuff, they've never found any bones that show birth defects from congenital birth defects from inbreeding. It just didn't occur because you do something like that, that's incest. Incest was punishable by death. They would take the male, they would strip him of everything, clothing, weapons, everything, and burn everything. And then we'd strip him of his name. A hole was dug in and ceremonially his name was buried to putrefy as it should. Then that person was taken to a remote island to where a big tree, he put his arms around a tree like this and his wrists were tied and he was left there. And if he could get free, it still didn't mean that he's going to live, because now the word has gone out that there's an invisible person. This person is invisible. And if anybody sees this malevolent spirit walking, they have a responsibility to dispatch it. So the word would go out to this one that was this former person is now invisible. So they would know who it was, and so if that person even get free, couldn't go to any other village, and because we're social beings, he couldn't live alone. It's like a wolf. It cannot live alone. There has to be family, it's all teamwork. And so it's in the European stuff that was brought to us that said you have to live alone. You're born alone, you live alone, you die alone. You're an individual. You have personal property. You are the most important thing. This whole ego thing about I. So anyway, this one is ka-ga, and this is ska, ska, ska. There's that ka sound there. Ska, skana, skana, skana. That's your father's sister. Your aunt is your father's sister. So this is your brother, your mother's brother, and your father's sister. It's simple. That's what those old ones would tell me. It's simple. I say, no, I'm simple. I know one of the women at home who were the same age. Her nickname was Scotty, the auntie. The auntie. I guess as a little girl, she was always taking care of everybody else, so they started calling her the auntie. But so, ka, ska. But there's another word. This is a little different though, but I still use that sk sound. Sk, skin is a seagull. That's a seagull. So it doesn't fit in here where we're talking about family relationships. So, ka is uncle, skana is your aunt. So where are we now? And this one, see, in Alaska, we refer to our grandmother as Nana. And we hear, like, my wife is, I guess her family came from Ireland, wherever, but they use the word Nana. And I've heard a lot of people of European ancestry refer to grandmother as Nana. Mm. Ours is Nana. Nana. Whereas Masset says Nani, and Skidegit says Nanai. Nanai. So it's still understandable to, you know, we all understand each other what we mean. I'm not too sure if anything is, if they distinguish between my mother's mother and my father's mother. But I would assume that my mother's mother I'd call Nana. But my father's mother, she might be a form of an auntie. Because she's on Raven's side, she's on the other side. Because Nana, that's something I've never really gotten clarified. So I'll have to find out what I can about that. And then if you're talking about cousins, sometimes they call it cross cousin. We use the term tui. Tui are the children of my father's sisters. Because the children of my mother's sisters are my brothers and sisters. But tui, conceptually what it is that it says, although we're not related by clan or blood, we're so closely related that we can joke with each other real hard and we can't get mad. For example, he's been gone a few years now, a man named Pat Weir from Masset. his mother and my dad were like brother and sister because they're two fin killer whale. So Pat was the Toei. He was my cross cousin. We're close related. And one day we're eating lunch, and he had some soup, and he said, "Damn!" I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "I missed my mouth." I asked him, "How could you miss something that big?" And see, we can joke with each other like that, but we can't get mad. Then another one, Monty Brown, he's also Tui. I scratched my face with a piece of, it was against a cable strand. We're out on the fishing grounds, and we used to have this merthiolate or mercurochrome. Merthiolate would burn like everything, but mercurochrome didn't. But anyway, I was looking in the mirror trying to put some on that scratch. And Monty Brown says, "What are you doing, sonny?" He's about 5 years older than me. He's still around. I said, I'm putting medicine on my face. And he looked at me like that, and he says, "There's no medicine for ugly." Except whiskey. And I said, "Your girlfriend said that doesn't work for you." So we could tease each other like that. During my drinking days, one of my buddies was rather large. And, well, two of them, they both passed out on my couch. And the one's t-shirt rode up to about here. So I took some mercurochrome and I painted his belly button and put his initials. And it was about, I don't know, a week or so later, we're down to Boat Harbor. And there was a guy married to my first cousin, a guy named Jim Lockhart. And we were exchanging great truths, all as men. We never lie, we just don't. Anyway, Vern says, "Jim, come here." And he's come over kind of laughing. "What is it, Vern?" He said, "Look at that." He pulled up his shirt. There was his initials. He couldn't wash it off. So we would do stuff like that and never get mad about it because, it was just, you could tease like that. He was also Eagle, but he was from a different house. He was from the what's it called? Bullhead, I guess it is, from a different house. But he was Eagle, the guy that I painted like that. So the word Tui, when you refer to one person, but if I'm talking about then I'm talking about Tolong. Tolong is all of my relatives. So when we hear people making these, primarily from the prairies, the Lakota people, and were the ones that would say all my relations, so they include all those things in their prayer. But we would say the Tolong, that's all my relatives. These are the ones that I have a close relationship with. So food isn't just food, that's my relatives. And so we're thankful when they give up their spirit for us. But the way we thank them is in the eating. So long as you're enjoying the eating, you're expressing your gratitude or the level of esteem that you feel for that being. So with the humans, we use that. And then chana. We say chana on the Alaska side. Masset they say chini, chini, and Skidikit says chinai. So we use a, Masset use e, and Skidikit use I. A-E-I. But see, the I is like the I in pin, chi, cha. This is chana, cha, chi, chi. So it's a little different.
And what does it mean?
Huh?
It means thank you?
No, this is grandfather.
Oh, grandfather.
This is great. Thank you. Here's Hawa over here. Hawa chana. Hawa chini. Hawa chinai.
Okay, gotcha.
Am I perfectly
Clear.
confusing?
Claro. And this is grandfather on the mother's side?
Well, see, that's what I've never understood, but so we call both of them
Ah,
the same term. But also, the fathers of all my mother's sisters. So I've got a whole lot of grandfathers. See, when they become a grandfather, we use the term elder, but this is a teacher. This is, see, when we talk about man, I would never say di I am a man. No, I am becoming. I am becoming. So until I reach to this, I am becoming. But when I reach this and I have grandchildren, now I'm a teacher. Now I'm one of the old ones, I'm one of the old men. So when they use the term elder, that's a European term that also refers to, we'll say, an office in a church. You're a church elder. And it doesn't matter if you're, I don't know if it's only males or females in a church when you're elders. I think it's only males.
Which church? It depends.
Presbyterian, the Protestant churches, that's where they have the elders. I don't think the Catholics have them. I don't know if they do or not. But anyway, so the term elder is really not an appropriate term. It's the old men, the old ones. So when you reach that point, you've already raised your children, you've raised your nephews, and now you're working with the children. Your job is to pass on all these teachings. And also, there's sort of a hierarchy. That the eldest child is responsible for to make sure that the one younger learns the proper ways of doing things. And the second one is responsible for the third one. So like in my family, there are 7 of us. So each one is responsible for passing on the teachings to the younger ones. And also, I have a younger brother, so I'd be responsible to make sure he's learning what my uncle is teaching me. My younger brother and I used to go beachcombing for deer. We'd go sport fishing together. And he fell overboard one time when I pulled him out. He could have drowned. So we're always looking out for each other, for the weaker ones and our sisters. So this goes through the whole system. Everybody is responsible for looking out for the younger ones. But Chana, the old ones. So I would call all of the old ones at home Chana, not just my biological or clan grandfather. So it's a really a sort of a title of respect too, in a way. But I don't like that word respect because nobody knows really what it is. We know what disrespect is. We can see it, but are you really respecting somebody, or are you just trying to con them out of something? So anyway, Chana. So we've gone through mother is awa, father for me is huma, for you it's Haida. It's almost like Haida, Haida. And so my brother's children would call me Haida. They would call me father. But they wouldn't call me uncle because they're on the opposite side. I hope you're all confused because that means you're listening.
Well, you've done a good job.
And if you want to go a little bit further than just saying hoa, nana, dung, honest, this is more than just saying thank you very much, because the word kill is your voice. So, nana, dung, you, so HL, that's would be I, you, I want to express how deeply happy you've made me, kind of like you've really touched my spirit. Laten, laten, la, it's that quality of goodness. Laten. So, nana dung aneth kil laten. Nana dung aneth ant kil laten. That's this mark right here. Means that you stop and then you push it on. Kil laten, kil laten, kil laten, laten. There's that sort of silent laten, laten, kil laten. So nana dung ant kil laten. That's another form of saying this person. I guess the DII one is the strong one and this is the weak one. So that's how you would thank your grandmother. Or you thank your grandfather. Because sometimes you sort of run these two together. Sometimes you'll get these au, but we pronounce it those au when you see these two aau. So up here, these two would be almost run together. Kil. I see you are perplexed.
It's going to be a real tongue twister.
Huh?
It's going to be a real tongue twister.
Yeah, not only a tongue twister, but also the English language is inverted. Nana, you, I, I'm expressing how happy you've made me. So, in English you'd say, Nana, I'm very happy, or I'm very thankful for what you've done for me. But here, we're making sure, Nana, you have made me feel it. Rather than saying, Nana, I'm really happy you did that, or said that. So anyway, this is, and if you want to personalize it, is it a T? Svetlana. Xaad Kil. So you would use Laurel. Xaad Kil. This is when you want to express more than just saying thank you or oh. Xaad Kil. So really that's a part of the ceremony also, is that we're being grateful for being brought into light. We're thankful for our birth, we're thankful for this. And so we're bringing all the gifts that you've given us, that we can pass it on to the others. And it says when you go to a feast, you don't just go with an empty plate. You bring your gifts. You're not there to get something, you're there to share something. So maybe this isn't in the way of food. You're sharing yourself. You're honoring the person by appearing. So it's always expressing gratitude for being alive. There's some people that are called awan. It's really what it sounds like. Awan. That's a person whose mind is so dirty, he'll dirty his own name to get what he wants. And that's how we refer to people who are ambitious. You know, they'll do anything to get what they want. But if they're Skuju is grabbing. That's when you start grabbing. You maybe even don't need it or you don't want it, you just gotta keep grabbing. And the only protection against that is called giving back before you take. And the way that's characterized is, I go looking for food, animal, bird, and it presents itself. Because I can't say I'm looking for a deer, because if I do that, I'm saying you have no say in this relationship. So I go and I look around, and if it presents itself, then I either accept the gift or I give this one back. And I always give back that first one. So if somebody else comes along afterward, there's something for that person. So that's what it means. You give back before you take, instead of just taking everything that comes in front of you. And that's what residential school took, that concept that's used by all the indigenous peoples, and said, don't trust, they'll cheat you. Don't share, they'll end up with more than you. Don't give back, because you can never have too much. So that's what they did, you know, because trust is automatic. Because you're in a clan, you trust you. Just because you're in the same clan as me, I'm going to trust you with everything. I'm going to help you. Don't help each other, you know, because the only way to the top is look out for number one. And don't share, because they'll end up with more than you. And don't give back, because you can never have too much. And so that's the whole way that civilization is driven, by that concept. I was watching a movie last night called Cowboys and Aliens. And it's sort of a strange movie, but at first they weren't doing too good of a job in showing what a western town would look like, cowboys and guns and all the rest of that. But there were some aliens. And our hero brought home, he was a bandit. He brought home these gold coins, and his wife wanted to know where he got them, and was very upset when he told her. And he said, that's going to help us get everything we need. And then this thing comes in, and then the gold starts to shake and shimmer, and then it starts to disappear as it's being pulled up through the house. And then suddenly the house is blown open, and the wife gets taken. And sees aliens, and he's got something attached to his wrist. He doesn't know what. As it turns out, it's some sort of weapon. But what it is, it's an alien race, and they're abducting humans to find out what their weakness is, because what they're looking for is gold. Gold powers everything for them. So it's sort of the same story. Except in this case, the settlers and the Indians work together.
What a concept.
And it was kind of strange at first, but it's called Cowboys and Aliens. Harrison Ford was playing sort of the bad guy, and Daniel Craig, who plays Bond, was sort of almost the anti-hero. He was a bandit, but then his wife gets taken, and he has one objective, and that's to get her back, because he doesn't know if she's alive. But there's another woman that's following him, and he can't understand what's going on. He's getting very angry, and as it turns out, she's also an alien in a human form. They had wiped out her people, the planet, and he was the only one that knew where they were, but he couldn't remember it. So anyway, it goes through all this, and it's very well done. I just happened to be bored with what I was watching on TV, and I went to APTN, and it says Cowboys and Aliens. So I started watching it. But again, it was that drive to get. And I just read a book by Clive Cussler, and in it, people are killing and doing everything to get rare earth minerals, because they're going to make super magnets out of it. They can use for propulsion systems and all kinds of things. But it's always got to get my hands on them. I've read a great deal about the Egyptians, the Nubians, and then the Romans came along, and they went across and trained everybody in Western Europe to be like them. And so you had the colonizers. Well, you had the British Empire that came along a little bit later, but you had the Spanish, the Germans, the French, the English, racing across the world to find riches. And in a case, the U.S. Supreme Court, McIntosh v. Johnson. Anyway, in that case, they were arguing over really who had control of the land, whatever. And the U.S. Supreme Court Justice talked about the Doctrine of Discovery. The Doctrine of Discovery was a loose agreement between the discovering nations that whoever found something first would be the one that would claim it. But the way he phrased it, they had the first right of refusal. In other words, if they found Haida country, the first one there would have the first right to acquire territory from us. Didn't say how, but anyway, that's called the Doctrine of Discovery. And the tribes didn't know anything about it. It's just something, the legal theory they came up with. And then they called this thing manifest destiny. That was their destiny that covered the whole earth. So when you look at Avatar, the movie Avatar, I think it is, the blue people, it's the same way. They're getting killed with over the white people fighting to own something. And then when you, in Star Wars, they have the Ewoks. These little brown furry people that were being killed off because Earthlings were looking to get wealthy off of what we had. And the language and the name Ewok came from the tribe of Northern California, the coast, called Miwok. One of my close friends was a Miwok history keeper. So when we started looking at it, these relationships, does anybody really have any loyalty to anybody? And since we have free will, we can pick and choose. Like, for example, what if I was a Trump supporter and my brother wasn't? We'd probably get into fights over it. Because I'm an individual, I am right. It doesn't matter what you think, I am right. And in a way that's true. In working with families and with fathers and with boys, your feelings are true for you. Those are your feelings. Don't let anybody ever tell you that your feelings are not true. Don't let anybody ever tell you that. Because you're the one feeling them, they're yours. And just because I don't agree doesn't mean that I'm right. Or if I disagree, that doesn't mean I'm right either. It's just that I can't tell you how to think. I can't say what you should believe. And I can't tell you what to believe. I can tell you what I believe, but there's no intent in there to get you to believe like me. I just want you to understand more about me or the people I come from. So when we use these phrases in our language, this is from people who've maintained that aspect of humanity that makes us human, of being social beings, to where we need each other. We can't live alone. And so when you have these monks and whatever going off, and they're crazy. They go crazy. What was Victor Borsa? You know Victor Borsa, the piano player from Denmark that was a comedian, and he referred to, well, if it's a nunnery, then where the monks are must be a monkery. But he was so funny. And then he's showing you this grand piano. He said, you see where it's curved like this? That's where the fat lady stands when she sings. This guy he could really play the piano, but he had a good sense of humor too. And I think that's the one thing that people who belong to cults, people who get caught into dogmatic beliefs, their sense of humor is no longer present. They lose that part of their humanity. And so, when we do our ceremonies, you don't have to go in it looking like a hemorrhoid sufferer.